Hello YouTubers and fellow Whovians, and once again welcome to another Doctor Who CD review by me, the Obsessed Whovian 95. Today I shall be taking a look at Damaged Goods, which was written by a certain Russell T Davies. That's right, Damaged Goods is another audio which is part of the Novel Adaptations Range, which has been adapted by Big Finish Studios, and Damaged Goods was a novel part of the Virgin Adventures range that came out during the 1990s, the wilderness years of Doctor Who, and Big Finish have decided to do an adaptation of this novel with this audio. This particular audio was adapted by Jonathan Morris, and great writer. This audio stars Sylvester McCoy as the 7th Doctor, and we have what seems to be 2 new companions, but this isn't actually their introduction story, as they were introduced in a previous story which, as of now, has not been adapted into an audio, so maybe one day we might get to see that getting a release. Travis Oliver and Yasmin Bannerman star as the companions in this audio. I'll talk more about them towards the end of this review. So we have the usual stuff on the side. On the front cover we have the Sylvester McCoy title sequence there, and it just says like who's in what and everything like that. And the main cover itself, I really like this cover. I think it's an absolutely amazing cover. It grabbed my attention, and one of the reasons why I picked this up. I think it's a great cover for this audio. We've got what seems to be a council estate of flats, so you can kind of see the work of Russell T Davies there, seeing as he did that in the new series. We've got the 7th Doctor there looking very worried about something, or at least very concerned or very serious. We've got the 2 new companions played by Travis Oliver and Yasmin Bannerman there. And we've got this character here with what seems to be some tentacles coming out of him. And it's in a graveyard as well, and you can just see in the graveyard here the TARDIS is there. I've only just noticed this myself actually, so that's quite a good bit of detail they've added in there. So yeah, very good cover, very haunting cover. We've got the moon there, a full moon with the clouds, so I really like this cover. I'm a big fan of it, and it's one of the best things about this release, the cover. I know it's a very small part of this, but hey, I like it. This is number 6 in the Novel Adaptations range, and it's got the black spine. And as I said, this was written by Russell T Davies, adapted by Jonathan Morris. This is 120 minutes, and this is 2 parts. We have 2 1-hour episodes, so it's not a 4-parter, it's actually a 2-parter, so they're kind of going for the format of what, say, a new series episode would be in terms of length. And now I shall be going and taking you through the synopsis of this story. The year is 1987, and there's a deadly new narcotic on the streets of London. As part of the investigations, the Doctor and his companions, Chris and Roz, move into the Quadrant, a rundown housing estate. An ancient alien menace has been unleashed, a menace somehow linked to a local gang leader known as the Kappa. A charmed young boy called Gabriel and his mother Winnie, the enigmatic Frei Foundation, and Eva Jericho, a woman driven to the brink of madness. As London descends into an apocalyptic nightmare, the Doctor must uncover the truth about the residents of the Quadrant and the desperate bargain made one dark Christmas Eve. And this, as I said earlier, is based on an original Virgin Adventures novel known as The New Adventures. And as I said, it was written by Russell T Davies at the time, and executive producer, of course, of the first 4 series of the revived era. This was originally released as a novel back in 1996, and this came out as an audio in 2015, so it took 19 years for this to be adapted by Big Finish. And the cast, it's quite an extensive cast. When you have a large cast, you know that a lot of things are going to happen in this story. You can just tell by me just reading the actual bio for this story that there's quite a few characters in this, and you can just see that just by looking at the cast list here. So we have Travis Oliver and Yasmin Bannerman, as I mentioned before. They play characters known as Chris Quedge and Roz Forrester. They are the companions for this. And one thing that's very interesting is the fact that Travis Oliver, Yasmin Bannerman, and Michelle Collins, who plays Winnie Tyler, who's the mother in this story, they all have appeared in Doctor Who in the new series. Travis Oliver appeared in Gridlock, Yasmin Bannerman appeared in The Long Game, and Michelle Collins appeared in 42, which was written by the next showrunner, Stephen Moffat's successor, Chris Chibnall. So as you can see on the inside, we have the usual stuff. So we have the alternate cover here with the 7th Doctor's logo, and you have like all the text fonts for everything else, like all here and everything. So if you want to display this cover on the other side instead of the usual, you can do so. Very nice. And we have disc 1, which it says parts 1 and 2, even though it's only one big episode. And disc 2 is on there, and yeah, they've got like a different flip onto this, if you know what I mean. I prefer the other way because, I don't know, sometimes it confuses me. So yeah, disc 2, it has, well, it says part 3 and 4, when in actual fact it's just part 2. And here we just have an advertisement for other audio releases that have been released as part of the Novel Adaptations Range. So we have Love and War, The Highest Science, The Romance of Crime, The English Way of Death, and here we have the 2 limited edition box sets. So we have The Fourth Doctor by Gareth Roberts, limited edition, and we have Damaged Goods and The Well-Mannered War special edition. But of course, the special limited editions can be bought as standard editions, and as you can see, I have the standard edition. I got this along with The Well-Mannered War. Here's what the inside looks like. We've just got an advertisement for what I've just mentioned, The Well-Mannered War, which I've already reviewed. If you've not seen that, check it out. And we've just got an advertisement for Doctor Who magazine. Righto, so what do I think of Damaged Goods? I think this is a very new series story. It just fits in with the new series. If you listen to it, you will know exactly what I'm on about. It just feels like new series. I'm not necessarily sure if it feels like a classic series story, but the impression I got first time I heard this, I definitely got vibes of the new series from this. This was originally written by Russell T Davies, and of course, and you can see elements from this that have been brought into the actual new series. So we've got like, it's kind of like a modern day setting, even though it's set in 1987. But you've got all these character stories, like all these little stories. It's not just all about the Doctor saving the Earth from aliens. You've got all of these emotional stories going on, and you get that from Winnie Tyler. Isn't it interesting that one of the characters from this story is actually called Tyler, seeing as the first companion of the new series had the same surname? So I can kind of see that a few things maybe from this original novel were brought in to the actual TV series. Oh, and by the way, before I go on any further, I've never read any of the Virgin novels in my life, so I can't compare this to the actual novel, so I'm only going off what I've heard from this audio and what's being adapted by Jonathan Morris. But for what it's worth, Jonathan Morris, he picked out probably some of the most important bits, some interesting bits, and there was one piece of dialogue which I heard in the second half of the story, and I thought, oh my god, did they just mention that? And this is a Sylvester McCoy story, and I just was really, really surprised because I didn't expect them to mention such and such a thing. I won't say what it is because I don't want to spoil the story for you, but I just thought, wow, this is really new series. And I think the characters in this, it does feel like a new series story. We've got Travis Oliver's character, Chris, and it's quite an interesting character. There's not really much to say about his character or Yasmin Bannerman's Roz character, because going into this audio, they are already companions of the Seventh Doctor, so we haven't had like an introduction with them in audios yet as I make this review. Maybe they might make some more audios sometime down the line which feature them, and it might feature like the first appearance or something like that. I have no idea what Big Finish are planning to do in the future. But they're releasing some more audios with Lisa Bowerman as Bernice Summerfield, who went on to be a companion of the Seventh Doctor. So I am really intrigued to see whether Chris and Roz will come back. But Chris's character in this is implied to be gay. So we have a gay character as a companion. And of course, in the new series, that actually has happened as well with the character of Captain Jack Harkness, who is implied to be a bisexual character. So Russell T Davies has kind of modernised Doctor Who a lot, and you could really see that. He probably did that in the novels, what he wrote back in the 1990s. You know, brought a new feel to Doctor Who, and you really do feel that with this audio. One thing that's very fitting as well, then of course naturally we would have had a change of the theme tune. We have a new theme tune that accompanies this audio, and I think the theme tune is alright. It's definitely not my favourite rendition of the theme tune, but I think it makes sense that they change the theme tune, give it that more modern feel, because like I said, it definitely does not feel like a Seventh Doctor story. But having said that, I'll talk about the Seventh Doctor. The Seventh Doctor does work well in this story. I think Sylvester McCoy is easily the best thing about this audio. He just delivers an absolutely terrific performance, and what they do with the Seventh Doctor in this is brilliant. Yeah, easily the best thing about this audio. Fantastic. But like I said, it doesn't feel like the Seventh Doctor sort of storylines that we're used to in terms of the TV series or some previous audios that have been made featuring his companions Mel or Ace. I don't know what it is. To me, it just feels more like a new series story, which is fine because I personally do like the new series. I don't really have a preference to classic or new. I like them both equally as much. And I just think that everything about this is a good idea. However, there is one thing that I do have to criticise about this audio, and I have said many, many times in the past that violence in Doctor Who, I have no problem with it. Dark storylines, things like that, I have no problem with it. But I don't know what it is. I've listened to this a couple of times now to review this, and I just feel that this is a bit too adult for Doctor Who. I don't know what it is. It's just some themes in this story I just felt were too dark. So I just thought, definitely not for kids. This is definitely more for adults. It's a good audio, but I do not recommend this for younger audiences. I say that this audio, if I had to give this a classification, I'd probably give this at least a 12, and that's saying a lot, because I think some younger teenagers may struggle listening to this as well, as there's a lot of themes in this story that is tackled, because we have the storyline with Michelle Collins' character. Quite an interesting storyline. I actually quite liked the storyline, the way it worked from beginning to end. From the word go, you're intrigued to see and listen to what happens in this story. Like, from the word go, we get like a pre-title sequence, so it has all the staples for what a new series episode would have. It has a pre-title sequence, then you have your theme music and everything like that. So I've said it many times already, definitely does feel like a new series story. As for the main villain, I think it's not the best villain in the world, I'll be honest. The Kappa, it's alright, I guess. The voice actor for the Kappa is good, but I just don't think it's the best thing in the world, coming from this audio. But I think it would do the job of scaring a few people, especially the younger audiences. But like I said, personally, I don't recommend that you sit down a child and give them headphones and then listen to this audio, because in my opinion it's just definitely not for kids. That's just my personal opinion. I just don't think that this story suits the younger audiences. I'd like to briefly talk about the ending without giving too much away. When everything gets resolved at the end of the story, like with the whole storyline throughout, it does feel like a bit of a cop-out, and you do feel, well, what about the repercussions of everything that's just happened? And I just felt a bit rushed. Whether that's the fault of Jonathan Morris, I don't know. Maybe it might have been explained in the novel by Russell T Davies to more of an extent. It might have been more extensive in the novel, because you can't really describe the emotions of certain characters, what they go through, because some characters go through loss and pain in this. So it's a very dark story, this, and for that I'm going to give this a 7.5 or 8 out of 10. I'm on the fence about it. I might actually say 7.5 out of 10, because there's just some things about this that I did really like. But for what it's worth, Travis Oliver's character and Yasmin Bannerman's as the companions, I don't think that they have an awful lot to do in this story, so I'm not sold on this just from this one story. I would have to listen to other audios with these characters in, so hopefully they do some more audios with these characters sometime soon. So thank you very much for watching my review of Damaged Goods, which was written by Russell T Davies and adapted by Jonathan Morris. I hope you're all having a great day. Stay tuned next time, and cheerio.